start with passion. Start with fire in your belly. I'm gonna talk about two actually. So I want to talk about one other challenge that I faced that I think is really important, that I haven't discussed at all. I haven't even told you, but I think it's important. Yeah, it was the scariest fucking thing I've ever had happen in my life. I'm AJ Morris. I'm a natural bodybuilder. I've been involved in natural bodybuilding for just over a decade. That's both as an athlete and as a coach. And I'm also the founder of Natural Bodybuilding Worldwide. So the last time I was on stage for me was all about redemption. I say that because in 2020, I just missed out on winning a British title. And in 2021, which is when I last stepped on stage, my whole objective was to win a British title, and AKA be redemption, especially competing in back-to-back seasons. My whole purpose was to come back on stage and take that British title, and I did. You know, 2021 was a year where I redeemed myself and I achieved that objective. So that process and that goal, achieving that was huge. And that was one of those things that, again, reminded me that I could be the standard of natural bodybuilder that I wanted to be. But equally, 2021 taught me there's levels to the game. And if I wanted to step it up to that next level and bring it a pro standard, I needed some more time. So for me, I've always been competitive, always. If you watch my story video on YouTube, you'll see a bit more about my background. I was heavily involved in motorsports when I was growing up, from the age of 8 until 16 years old. I've always wanted something competitive to be chasing down. So for me, bodybuilding is all about bringing out that competitiveness within me, because I train because I love to train. You know, competing and literally getting on stage is kind of a byproduct of the training. So I think for me, my inspiration is just kind of to be competitive, to get on stage and to show that my hard work in the gym, my love and my passion for training can end up, even if you have not got the best genetics, which I don't believe I have. I believe I've got okay genetics, but not the best. Hard work can prevail. That's really my inspiration, is to prove to other people that what you do on the gym floor, what you do outside of the gym with your recovery, your rest, your diet, and your discipline can take you to a level that you previously thought maybe was not attainable. So returning to the stage this year, it's actually a little bit of an interesting one, because I was meant to be on stage last year. Last year was meant to be basically a year where I, came to the British Championships again and tried to present a physique that was at a pro level. And unfortunately, I had a little bit of an obstacle with regards to an injury that set my training back so far that it was just not going to be possible to prep within that season and be my best. So I guess I had to look at this year as, don't want to use the word redemption again, but definitely a reconfirmation that I can do this, a reconfirmation of the standard that I hold to myself, and honestly, just again, a realization of like, I can be at the level that I know I can be at, a confirmation to myself more than anything else. More than anything, it's about proving to people that follow me, but definitely my clients, if you go for a period, a rough patch, a period where you don't believe you can head forwards as a bodybuilder anymore, and you can come out of that, you can push through that, you can see that obstacles be overcome and step on stage better than ever. Bring my best to the stage, be present in the process, and prove to people again that you can overcome some of the obstacles that maybe people would just give up at, maybe that would be the case, but I didn't want to give up, I didn't want to give in. I absolutely wanted to prove to myself that I could be my best. So that's what this year was about. Back end of 23, just as I was getting ready to launch my 2024 prep, the obstacle hit. And sometimes things hit you right at the wrong time, but upon reflection, and I always tell myself this, and my mom especially always used to tell me, like, everything happens for a reason, like that was the big message that I always had in my family, is that everything happens for a reason. Cloud with a silver lining for me was the fact that 2024 was an amazing year anyway. Got to see my amazing girlfriend, partner, Loz on stage. And then for me, it was another year of recalibration, growing a little bit more, recovery, a bit of rehab for the injury that I had, and then making sure that I was setting myself up even better for 2025. And that ended up coming to fruition. So in terms of the frustration of not competing in 2024, as soon as I knew that like how my season was going to lay out in 2025 and the plans that I had for 2024 anyway, in terms of business and putting laws on stage, etc., and the amount of clients I had on stage, it ended up being a proper cloud with a silver lining. I'm the type of person that really, like, of course I can nail my own process in terms of the off season in the background when I'm not in a contest prep phase, but I am very all in. So 2024 was like all in on travel for my clients, being at all the shows, seminars. I did like 2-3 seminars in different countries. I doubled down on being there for Loz and making sure that her prep ran seamlessly. I doubled down on business, you know, making sure that MBW grew even more than ever, coaching grew even more than ever. So I put in even more yard work to make sure that then 2025, you know, if I had to back off on any of those things, I could, but you know, knowing me, again, I don't back off on anything, so I tend to just go, like, keep going all in, all in, all in. And yeah, I mean, it's brought me to a spot now where I can look back at 2024 and say that, especially the back end of the season, which was when I planned to compete, there was some amazing experiences then that I wouldn't have been able to fully be present for and embrace if I wasn't a contest prep. So I'm grateful for the fact that I was actually able to enjoy that back into the season and be in a very, because prep makes you like a little bit not so present, yeah? And to be present in those moments was really key. Bodybuilding for me at the start really was just a little bit of a hobby. It was fun, it was just enjoyable. It was something that I went to bed looking forward to the next workout, and I was really excited to see what I could do on stage. For me now, I still have that same level of Christmas level excitement going to bed the night before a big session. That level that level of excitement and desire is still very much there. But I think for me now, it's more about, I realize the position I'm in as an athlete, as a coach, and as a figurehead in natural bodybuilding, where I've said it again, but I'll say it again now, it's about having impact. It really is about having an impact on the sport. I don't want my stage results to be something that just gets written down in the history books. I want my stage results, I want my stage look and my physique to be an inspiration to other people and have impact. More so than the physique, more so than the improvements, but the way I carry myself. The way I carry myself online, how professional I treat my processes, the details that I go into that maybe people think are too detailed, but I care about them because they're gonna make me better. That's the impact that I want to have. I want to raise the game in natural bodybuilding. I want people to think that this is not a joke. This is not a small sport. This is a big thing. I treat my amateur bodybuilding process like a professional, and that's the impact that I want to have on other people. I'm going to talk about two actually. So I want to talk about one other challenge that I faced that I think is really important, that I haven't discussed at all. I haven't even told you, but I think it's important, because it really affected my mental health for like 6 months. The first challenge that I experienced in the off season was a physical challenge. Physical challenge that I faced was a compressed disc in my cervical spine. I was acceptant of the fact that I was playing with risks. I'm trying to put 7 plates on my back on a hack squat. The next day or a couple of days later, try and row 180 kilos. You're playing with fire. So for me, the risk element of my training is rewarded in the physique development that I have. I don't think there's any ever big, great physique that, unless they've got the best genetics in the world, hasn't had to graft, hasn't had to take risks to get the muscle, the density, the maturity that they have. Injury risk is part of the game. I was willing to accept that. When it happened to me, for me, it was one side of my body, basically I couldn't contract it properly. The nerve got compressed down one side, so you try to do something with that side of the body and it just wouldn't cooperate. Many sessions of frustration, a lot of tears shed, and a lot of not knowing whether I was going to be able to get it fixed, because a lot of the stuff that you see on nerve damage, so to speak, it's very slow recovery times. So instead what I did to work around it is I just doubled down on everything that I possibly could do to get into a position where I would get it better. So I threw every bit of finance that I could at treatment. I went to the top people in the top of their games with nerve-related injuries, and luckily enough, within 1 to 2 months, it was definitely heading on the up. And it was a long time, it was a long process. And during the course of 2024, it was really a case of just regaining momentum. So I'd say from like December of 23 all the way through until May of 2024, it was something that was always rearing its head and plaguing me mentally when I looked at my physique. From then, from May onwards, it was just better and better and better and better, and I started to gain more confidence. I faced one other challenge, which I haven't really spoken about at all on like YouTube or anything like that, but I feel like it would be helpful for people to understand some of the mental struggles you can face and some of the ways in which it might change your perspective on life, and it might change your ability to can have a bit of a different understanding as to what can happen in the click of a finger. So in early 2023, everything was going fantastically well business-wise. Growth was massive with everything we were doing, and I basically, in the space of 24 to 48 hours, I was a victim of over 100K worth of fraud. That for me was 2 to 3 months of feeling sick every single day, realizing that I'd potentially lost savings that was meant to go towards house, potential future cars, investment for me and Loz, and it all happened in the click of a finger. Now, the reason why I discussed that, and I'm not going to go into details as to how it happened because it's by the by, but the reason I discussed that is because I realized in that moment, as soon as that happened, like afterwards, after that instance, I realized that for me, money means way less than I thought. And luckily enough, I managed to get the money back and there was no problems moving forwards, and I've learned a lot of lessons as a result of it. But I learned how little money means to me. I really did. And ever since then, I've been way more opportunistic in terms of saying yes to stuff that is financially fueled. And instead of saying no, or protect this, protect that, I've just gone all in on opportunity, all in on things that excite me. And that's why, maybe again, I've started sharing more of like my car and my life a little bit more, saying yes to booking a trip with Loz, saying yes to, a nicer experience or something like that, because I worked so hard to the point where I lost all perception of what money I had and what financial freedom actually meant. All that I'm going to say in that moment is that, like, if you're going through anything rough, injury, worries with finance, it will always teach you something. It will always make you a better person to go through those struggles. For me, 2023, that moment was the biggest mental struggle that I've ever had, in terms of just feeling unwell all day with sickness, worrying about what was going to happen as a result of the issue I was facing. And then in 2024, I got tested physically. So I believe that if you're tested both physically and mentally at some point in your life, it very much happens for a reason. It's going to make you a better person. This prep, be it a bit of a spiritual process, has made me realize that, prep is easy in comparison to going through those couple of things that tested me physically and mentally. And fortitude, mental and physical fortitude, is one of those things that as a bodybuilder, in my opinion, you can't buy it. You have to experience tough times to get mental and physical fortitude. Yeah, it was not fucking nice, that. Yeah, it was the scariest fucking thing I've ever had happen in my life.
Did you feel any added pressure from you following growing? And how did it impact on
Following growing, maybe not so much, because I don't really pay too much attention to like numbers and stuff like that on Instagram or YouTube. It just kind of just is day to day me sharing my content. So not so much that, but definitely at the UKDFBA, at this show, I knew the amount of people that were coming to watch and support, family, friends, a hell of a lot of clients. I just wanted to make them proud. I just wanted to impress them. And so I definitely felt a little bit of a weight of expectation that, you know, not only was I expected to win, because last time out I won a British title, you know, 3 years ago, I should be better. Surely I should win a qualifier, but you just never know who's going to turn up. You never know the standards. You never know who's going to be in your class. That added feeling of not knowing who I was going to go up against alongside the people that were there at the show, yeah, definitely a little bit of pressure. And I think also there's an element of me knowing that people are wanting to see me improved on last time. And me also knowing that as much as I had 2 years, 22 and 23, that were extremely productive, 24 was good but not great, because it was like 10 steps backwards to then make 8 steps forwards. So I effectively stayed probably the same over 24, which is frustrating, but it is what it is. These things happen to even people at the very top of the game. At the Olympia, people deal with injuries. So for me, I was like, you know, this has happened to many other people. It has happened to me, I have to work with it. And yeah, stepping on stage improved was one of those slight pressures as well, for sure. The surprise is the element that I want to bring to the stage always. Even for future shows in this season, I'll want to bring a surprise to the stage, you know, an improved look. Yes, definitely, I am inspired by Dorian. He's one of the GOATs. He is the shadow. He is the original, the OG, not sharing anything and then shocking people on stage. And when I speak to some people, a lot of people agree with the fact that they like it. You know, they like the fact that they're looking forward to seeing me on stage. They like the fact that they don't know what I look like. And the way that I follow bodybuilding is I actually really look forward to seeing people on stage that I don't know what they're going to look like. So it's the element of surprise and excitement that I like, but also at the same time with self-coaching. When you self-coach, if you have a lot of people in your ears in comment sections saying you look great or you're ready, it opens up that door of making decisions harder to make. Decision fatigue starts to creep in. So even after this show, I've had many people message me saying, some people will say, you've got 5 pounds left to pull off, you can be leaner. Another person will say, you were amazing, you were full as a house, fresh, you should stay the same, don't dig any deeper. And at that point, I've still got to make my own decision, because I've got to make the decision for my physique with my awareness of what I've got to bring to the stage. So if I had that the whole prep, it would be very distracting. So it's multifaceted in terms of why I don't, but those are the main reasons. All right, so Saturday we traveled down to Rugby, and to be honest, I felt really relaxed, really chilled. It had been a great peak week. Things had been rolling smoothly the entire 1.5 weeks that I'd been peaking for. We watched the F1 qualifying before we set off, read some of my book. You know, vibes were immaculate. It was just a nice chilled day. We arrived in Rugby. We got met by no key at the Airbnb. But at that point, you just got to realize you control what you can control. You know, a key is a key. We'll get it sorted. There's no problems. You know, you've got to also be mature in those moments. You stress out, if you release anger and rage at the fact that you can't control something, it's just pointless. Absolutely waste of energy. Okay, is this hotbox the same code? At least the hair's looking bomb. In these moments, you just have to just accept it is what it is. You can't control it. It's not the end of the world. We'll get the key. We'll get in. It'll be fine.
What's she gonna do?
Just, I don't know. She's apparently the people that were in here earlier today. They've left it. They couldn't get into the logbox, so they've left it somewhere else by some wooden steps. There ain't no wooden steps here. And then it might be in the third lockbox, which is not the same code. What the fuck have you just done?
I've just found some keys on the floor.
Right, we're in.
Right, you go
Found
in.
them on the floor. As you can see, guys and girls, we are in the illustrious rugby. We have arrived with zero hassle, zero problems, zero faults, apart from the key for the Airbnb just being loosely left on the floor outside the Airbnb. We're here, which is the main thing, and the place is actually really nice. So I guess what matters is what's on the inside, not the outside. So yeah, today is one day out. I'm just going to finish up with my last meal here, which is slightly adjusted to normal. It's normally quite a big bowl of oats with quite a lot of food volume. Trying to make sure that tomorrow I'm very easily underneath the weight cap. So just reducing food volume, going with like rice cakes, banana, nut butter, dark chocolate. So matching the macros, but going for something a lot lower volume. So hopefully that will result in me just having a little bit more room to maneuver tomorrow and no stress in regards to making weight. So, I mean, we'll see. If I don't hit the weigh in, it's not the end of the world. I'll just be in the heavier class. So, I'll make this meal. Blue light blockers will go on. Chill out and relax. Try and see if we can get something decent on the TV, maybe Clarkson's Farm. And hit the hay, honestly, because the day is pretty much done. We watched F1 qualifying. It was a banger at Monaco. Norris on pole, look up, P2. Very good stuff, so well, I'll probably try and watch that backstage tomorrow on F1 TV. Chilled and ready to go. The hair will not look like this tomorrow, guys. You will see a properly primed, slick back Morris in action. Yeah, it's just been washed, so I literally look like I've been electrocuted. I'm more than aware of that. Oh, it's got sky as well, that's interesting. It's been securely sealed. This sofa is not as comfy as the one at home. Feels like I'm sitting on a rock. Why is this remote so big as well? It's massive.
I don't want to distract you from the ladies. Yeah.
Rotters nightclub, Doncaster, 1978. Keep that in your mind. Why the planning purpose has a Class E establishment. Welcome everyone to the free world.
When you're in a different location, even in the off season, and you're used to your specific bed, all the same things in your routine, you know, sleeping in a different environment is always going to throw things off. But sleeping in a different environment when you're one night before a show that you've been waiting for really like 3-4 years, you know, waiting for this show, all I could think about, like, and when I closed my eyes, literally just the show would just run through my head. The show day would run through my head. Lee's voice, he'll love this. Lee's voice would just run through my head because I know Lee's voice so well. And it would just be like, I was just living the moment multiple times. It felt like by the time that I woke up after my Aura ring telling me that I got 6 hours of sleep and me feeling like I got half an hour, it was not a good night of sleep, but it never really is, especially before the first show of the season. That's why I see a lot of people do maybe warm-up shows and things like that, dust off the cobwebs. But for me, I really wanted this first show to be this show. You know, so I was willing to admit the fact that it wasn't probably going to be the best night of sleep before. Eventually woke up, got into my normal routine, a bit of a daze, everything in the morning, but it's nice to be at rugby, in the location, really try and stay just like low-key and chilled. And You know, on show day, you have two choices. You either immerse yourself in bodybuilding content, you watch show day vlogs, and you're basically just a bodybuilder the whole day, or you just kind of like, for me, I just cracked on with my morning work, got it done efficiently, and then just put on some different stuff, you know, like watch some motorsport, and really try to relax, because the more that I actually like I was doing when I was trying to sleep, the more that I immerse myself with bodybuilding, the more pressure that kind of builds upon myself.
With my MBW jumper.
That was tremendous, yeah.
Or I can wear my bombshell ones with the stripes, the black and white ones.
I really like those.
The flares?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they're cool.
Do you think I should wear it? Because I've lost my little MBW top. Shall I wear a little black crop top, do you think?
Yes, wear a black crop top. Yes. Don't worry about having to wear MBW or whatever, it's fine. Guys, man, this is like, this cortisol through the roof with all these questions. Wouldn't change it for the world. Now for the first class, I was pumping up, looking around, seeing who's in the class as you always do, and I had a good feeling of confidence for the first class that, you know, based on the people that I was seeing sort of pumping up around me, I thought, you know, I have a good chance here, but you never know. You never know when you see someone pumping up backstage. They're always going to look softer backstage than they are on the actual stage under good lighting. So you take it all with a pinch of salt. But the pump up was good. The pump came very, very well. I think the only thing that I felt was just a struggle to kind of calm my heart rate. So instead of listening to like, you know, upbeat music, I was listening to more relaxed stuff, trying to get myself in a calm space so that when I stepped on stage, I wasn't struggling to breathe and my heart rate wasn't 120, 140 beats per minute. As soon as my feet hit the blocks on that stage, I felt at home again. This is where I belong. Underneath the lights, hearing the judges, hearing Lee's voice, saying you're being judged, which is his terminology to know that, like, right, we're getting after it, we're starting to be judged. Put a big smile on my face and I was like, we're back. now even looking back amongst the overwhelm and amongst the excitement of the weekend, I can truly say that I was present. I can truly say that it wasn't a blur. I actually do remember going pose by pose, really enjoying it and embracing being up there on stage. Came out off the back of the kind of the prejudging element, felt confident, felt good, was held in the center, which is always a pretty good sign. Wasn't really moved around. It was quick judging, so I knew that they'd come to a conclusion relatively fast. Stepped off to the side of the stage, had a couple of people come up to me that was watching, Ben included, Ben Howard, said that I looked really good, gave me confirmation that I looked decent. Went back on for my routine, feeling confident again, feeling happy, feeling excited with my presentation, and really took my time with my routine. I've been, in the past, overwhelmed, adrenaline fueled, and rushed the routines a bit. So this year I went for something a little bit slower, a little bit more calm, a little bit more like pose by pose, and then it's to the side of the stage to await the results, which is always something a little bit nerve-wracking as that traditional UK DFBA music comes on and you're waiting for the results. And I've heard that music many, many times, not just for myself, waiting for results, but for my clients as well. And it always gets the heart rate up high when you start to hear that music come on. So I was waiting as the names get called out, as we get to, the top three. And as I see the guy that was standing next to me get announced second, you never celebrate. You never celebrate until your name gets called out first, because I've seen it happen before. Someone gets announced second, and then someone starts to celebrate that they got first. I got told off by Lee big time once, 2017. I celebrated when second got announced. And as much as I did win, because I was like the main person in the mix in that year, it's almost viewed also a little bit, I think, disrespectful to celebrate when you've not been announced. So ever since that moment, I've always been like, no, wait your turn.
First place, gold medalist and Heart of England men's lightweight champion for 2025, number 57, AJ Morris. So, give it up for Jack Watson, for Andy Holtz and for Brad Dodd. He is your up to 72 winner, AJ Morris, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, a good bit of relief, but I would also say at that point I realised how much I wanted to win the overall. I really thought, okay, like good class win, but I came here for something bigger. I wrote on my whiteboard, I wrote at the top of my coaching sheets when I entered this year, Heart of England champion, overall title. That's what I wrote. I didn't write win the class, I wrote win the overall, because that's what I wanted. I didn't just want to come away with a class win. So go backstage, calm down a little bit with the Lords. Got a little bit emotional because I was just very happy with the way that I looked after I'd seen some pictures. And I'm quite an emotional kind of person.
I literally look like I'm about to explode. And like they reminded me, like I'm actually alright at this. I know, but like with everything I went through with this, I just thought I wasn't going to be able to even do it again. Literally lost like half of my fucking seat.
A split decision from the judges.
I mean, the way that I felt when they said there was a split decision, I've been at 2017, again, same thing. In that moment, I just kind of paused for a bit, closed my eyes, looked up a little bit, and kind of said to myself, please. Or I said to maybe, I don't know, let's call it a spiritual moment. Spoke to God, whatever, spoke to my mum, and just said kind of, you know, please let me have my moment here, because this is the perfect moment.
Your overall winner for men's bodybuilding of the 2025 Heart of England Championships is Alexander James.
And then obviously Lee being Lee, he announced, which confused a lot of people, he announced me as the winner by virtue of Alexander, because he loves it, he loves Alexander. And yeah, confused a lot of people because a lot of people don't know that that's my actual first name. Alexander AJ Morris gets called. Fantastic, simply lovely stuff. And yeah, dropped to the floor because, you know, at that point you've expelled so much energy and emotion and passion into a process, and you get a result. And at that point, I was elated, you know, immediately obviously walked up to accept the awards, pointed at Loz in the crowd because, you know, she's as much as just me stepping on stage, she's there that also with me in a way. Like, it's like you can't do this without a team. So she's been absolutely incredible. Off-season prep, everything, just to support me.
AJ Morris came to us in 2017, nearly won an open class and an overall as a junior. Won the UK Nationals before he went on to win the World Championships as a junior. Came back in 2020, placed a very close second to a man who turned pro a week later. Then he went out to the European Championships and won the Open European Championships. Got offered pro status, turned it down. Wasn't the right time for him. Went on to the Olympia, placed top 3, silver medalist in the world, was the overall United Kingdom champion back in 2021. He is now the 20th man in a 30-year period to win the overall Heart of England Championships. Some of the men that have won this title in the past include Milan Panek, world champion, pro bodybuilder, Mark Oakes, world champion, pro world champion. You have entered into big company by winning the overall on this show. But the problem is we're sick of you winning. So it gives me great pleasure to award you your UK FBA professional status.
And then obviously to get, you know, not only the overall title, but the professional status awarded, which I did not expect one bit. I didn't even know that was going to be possible at this show. But to get that was unbelievable in that moment, in that venue, in front of that audience. I'd have not had it go any other way. The other thing that was great is that Ben Howard obviously came to award me it, because he's one of my greatest idols, one of my best friends in the sport, someone I've looked up to since day one. And yeah, to go back so far with him and then have that moment, it's absolutely priceless moment, that. And one that I'll remember for the entirety of the rest of my life. Probably want to be one of the best moments of my entire life. That I'd much rather have that moment in the UK in front of people that I love, rather than, you know, in front of some random crowd with, you know, a couple of my supporters there, and that's it. It was very, very special. Kind of after that whirlwind of emotions, because I was very emotional when Lee started speaking about my journey, my process with the UK DFBA, and obviously the opportunities that UKDFBA and Lee and Amy have given me as an athlete, as a coach, as a person have been absolutely phenomenal. And they've been the first people to also, like, when I've not been ready to be at that level, they've told me, you know, and I've had to graft my way to get into this position, you know, many, many years of competing, coming up short a few times, and yeah, to get rewarded and to actually be at the level that I wanted to be at, huge. So very, very special moment that on stage. Looking back at, like, you know, starting out 2014, coming now full circle all the way until 2025, the journey is one of passion. The journey is one of dedication. The journey is one of just simply falling in love with the process. That's never changed, and that will never change for me. I think results aside, pro cards aside, championships aside, for me it's just been about doing something that I simply just love. And that's the reason why, you know, when you do get a result or you do achieve something that you've set as a goal, you know, you'll see people get emotional like I did, because it means so much, you know, like you've just put your heart and soul into something. So bodybuilding is my heart, my soul, it's my passion, and that's never going to change regardless whether I'm pro, amateur, whatever. That's, for me, is the journey. It's literally a journey of just loving something so much. What I hope people take from this is that if you really, really, really want to achieve something, please, please just start with passion. Start with love for something. Start with fire in your belly. If you start with that, you're gonna get very, very far in anything. And again, if you're young and you love the idea of bodybuilding and you do a prep and you don't have that fire and you don't have that lust to improve, to be better, you don't wake up excited to train, you don't go to bed at night looking forward to the next day, no one's forcing you to do it. Please don't drag yourself into something that you just simply don't love. Bodybuilding will chew some people up and spit them the hell out. But for the people that love it, for the people that are truly passionate about doing this, it will show. It will show on stage, it will show in your off season, it will show in your business growth, it will show in the followers and the people that want to consume your content, because passion leaves clues. It really does. It really, really, really does. And it builds authenticity to a person and to an athlete. And the athletes that I follow are the most passionate athletes. Whether they've achieved the most, whether they have the best physique, doesn't matter to me. What matters is they have passion, dedication, and they put everything into their process. And that, for me, is what makes a sports person, a coach, whatever, successful in their process. So please just start with passion. And even if you're watching this and you're not into bodybuilding whatsoever, but you want to be successful, you want to have a great career, you want to make big steps forwards in whatever you're doing, find something you absolutely love and gets you out of bed in the morning. Work through the tough times, because there will be some, there'll be ups and downs, there'll be peaks and troughs. Realize that at the end of that process, you'll be a better person out of it. But yeah, ultimately, guys, chase your passions. What is next? What is next for AJ Morris? Next up, we have the PMBA World Championships in Salou, Spain. And that's from now recording, 2 weeks time. It's in the 15th of June, we'll be competing and we'll be making the pro debut. One of my goals that I wrote on my whiteboard was compete with Ben Howard. I didn't write get a pro card. I didn't write make a pro debut. I wrote compete with Ben, which is in virtue of getting a pro card, of having pro status. But that wasn't, focus on that for a moment, guys. It's like, how much of that is process relative? It's like, that goal of competing with Ben is part of my process. It's like, in my head, the pro card isn't even there. It's not even a part of that step, because I'm so focused on that one bit that I just love, which I love competing with one of my best friends. So stepping on stage with Ben, that to me is quite possibly the best pro debut I could possibly make. So that's the goal in 2 weeks time. After that, we're gonna hit up some Two Bros Pro shows, some NPC natural shows. I'll discuss which ones I'm gonna do in future videos, but we're gonna try and take it to the NPC natural scene. And I'd be lying if I said, but realistically, the goal is to cap off the season with taking a IFBB Pro natural card. That is the ultimate finishing point. That will cap me off for this season at the end of July, and then we'll be done. So in terms of where the physique is at, right now we're about 85% cooked. We've got 90, we've got 95, and we've got 100% cooked. So we're gonna put those burners on a little bit for the World Championships, and we're gonna turn it up even more for the Two Bros NPC Natural shows that will be upcoming at the end of the season. So guys, we've got plenty to look forward to. We've already had a great start. Follow along, and I mean, mate, if this video impacts people in one shape or form, all I want to take them from it is like, just you gotta love this. You gotta love this. I'm super excited for the rest of prep. Yes, it's gonna hurt a little bit, but you gotta wake up every day knowing that you're just blessed to be able to bodybuild. Be blessed with bodybuilding. Don't fight it, and just enjoy every single day that you get.